Hello everyone, I'm Chris Hernandez and this is the Weekly Report, your look at news from the city of Kansas City, Missouri. As you know, the city built a new East Patrol building and crime lab last year, but do you ever wonder what the city does with buildings it no longer needs? Surplus buildings are often sold as commercial properties, and that can help revitalize neighborhoods. Recently sold off city buildings include the former crime lab at 6633 Troost Avenue, the former KCPD South Patrol building on Hickman Mills Drive, and a beautiful stone building at 20th and Vine that dates back to 1867.
We are so excited to sell these properties and get them back to the market to new owners who can put a new use to the property and give it a new life. Because of this team that we've assembled of stakeholders from City Hall that range from council members, the city manager's office, Public Works, the law department, general services, because of that team and their hard work, we're able to do something for the future, for the city, and for the taxpayers.
If you would like more information about available commercial properties, go to kcmo.gov and search real estate. The proposed city budget has been announced and residents are invited to participate in the annual budget hearings. During these hearings, city council members and staff will present information and listen to public input. One hearing has already taken place. Two more budget hearings will take place. One is Saturday, February 25th at Woodneath Library, 8900 Flintlock Road. And another is March 4th at the Southeast Community Center, 4201 East 63rd Street. Both hearings take place from 10 a.m. to noon. The nearly $1.6 billion submitted budget proposes increasing public safety expenditures by $19 million or 4.6% over the current year. Public safety accounts for 76% of the general fund operating budget. Valentine's Day may be over, but it's not too late to get a sweetheart of a deal on a new house through the Kansas City Land Bank's Heart of KC sale. Open houses will be held at some of these properties through March 3rd. For locations and dates, check the website at kcmolandbank.org. And take a look at this video, which features one of these lovable houses.
I'm John Bacala with Neighborhood and Housing Services, and welcome to the hashtag Heart of KC home sale. 50 of the best properties by the Land Bank up for sale for just $999.
It's a perfect opportunity for like a mini urban renewal in Kansas City.
We're trying to increase home ownership in the center city by offering 50 of the nicest Land Bank homes available for sale for $999.
I think the biggest thing is to get people that are interested, able, need decent housing, or can help build up the neighborhood and fill in all these vacant houses. Excited enough to kind of make the leap into this neighborhood so that we can keep the momentum going.
Several more houses are up for sale. Go to the Land Bank's website, www.kcmolandbank.org, and look at the properties. Several other homes will be up for display throughout the coming months. I'm John Bacala reporting for Channel 2.
Today we are at the Kaufman Center for the Performing Arts, where the Kansas City Jazz Orchestra performs throughout the year. Here to tell us a little bit about their history, the programs, and the current season of the Kansas City Jazz Orchestra is Artistic Director Clint Ashlock. Clint, thank you so much for having us here today and for taking time to talk to us about the orchestra.
Thanks for having me.
Your orchestra was established in 2003. Why was it important to have the orchestra here in town?
Well, Gene Hall and Jim Mayer were the two founding people, and there's a long history of jazz in Kansas City, and having an organization that's representative of what the history of the town is, the history of jazz, and the brilliance of what jazz currently is and where it's going, I think was really important to them, and they established this, and it's been going on for a while now.
Well, when you talk about the history and where it's going, you all cover such an array of musical styles, from Latin jazz to the British invasion, and you pay tribute to a lot of musicians from anywhere from Mel Torme to Nat King Cole and to Frank Sinatra. So what goes into the planning for the season and what you ultimately decide to share with the public?
A lot. We have a board of directors, and from that board of directors we have a concert planning crew, and we get together year or 2 years in advance to think about what we're going to do, what our ticket buying base is interested in, what might stretch their ears a little bit, what might engage new listeners, all while representing what jazz music is, the creativity of it, the potential commercialism of it, and just that it's a fun and engaging music. So we try and find a balance with everything that we do, and sometimes it's very traditional music, and sometimes it's something outside of the box, like the British Invasion concert, which not only was music that is not traditionally jazz, but we brought in some artists that maybe aren't traditional jazz musicians to really deliver a different kind of energy. And it's an exciting organization. We're trying to do a lot with it, and a huge part of that is what we are doing with the concert planning.
Well, good. And the energy and the excitement that you just talked about is so contagious of your the performances. You all look like you're having such a great time, and that's contagious to the audience members. And when you look on stage, you have such esteemed and renowned artists from Kansas City, or who have played around Kansas City for a number of years, but who are not just well known in Kansas City, but who have performed internationally or with some important figures in music. How did you get them all to join the orchestra?
Well, one of the benefits of living in a city like this is that it's a hub for people to either they're from here or they move here. And when Jim and Gene started the band, in 2003, they already had a bunch of those types of musicians to pick from. And so some of the original members of the band, Steve Malloy, and they were brought in and suggested, well, let's put a band together. Who do you recommend for your section? Or and just the input from these musicians who are already here. It's a joy to be able to find people like that without having to go outside of the city and look for them. And luckily we have them in droves here in Kansas City.
Great. Tell us about your 2 upcoming concerts that finish out the season for the orchestra.
Well, the next one on the 3rd is it's the music of the 1970s sort of horn-driven bands like Chicago and Earth, Wind & Fire and Tower of Power. And that's really exciting. We've had numerous suggestions over the years for us to do a concert of Chicago's music or of Earth, Wind & Fire's music, and we're finally doing it. So we're really excited about that one. What sort of the premise is we take the songs that those bands made famous, and myself or some of the other musicians in the band will arrange those songs. So we have brand new, never before heard arrangements for people to hear that still pay tribute, and an homage to what those bands were about. So it should be exciting and energetic and pretty rocking on that one. And then on a different level, our April concert is celebrating the music of Miles Davis and John Coltrane, 2 of the most luminary figures in jazz history. So what the vision for that concert is to have a couple guest artists playing the role of Miles and Train. Herman Mahari and Matt Otto are going to be our trumpet and tenor saxophone soloists, and basically creating a suite of music that they made famous, Round Midnight, Stella by Starlight, the whole kind of blue album, and intertwining those sounds with a big band, a lot like, hopefully, like Gil Evans did with the Miles Davis recordings back in the 50s. And so pretty excited about that one too. Excited about all of them,
Well,
yeah.
What about education? I know it's an important part of your mission. So not only do you perform here at the Kaufman and Hellsberg Hall, but you also have programs and you have scholarships for the next generation that you're also trying to nurture and support. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We're consistently trying to further that educational mission. It's something we spend a lot of time on in meetings and retreats. We work pretty closely with the Tony DiPardo Foundation to provide tickets and scholarships and things for students. Education, especially music education, is so important, especially now. And we're trying to cultivate just a place where people can learn about this great music and culture and art and themselves.
How would people go about finding out about your recordings, your programs, and your concerts?
Well, aside from social media presence, our website, which is kcjazzorchestra.net, it's pretty inclusive of what we have, and ticket information, recording information can all be found there.
Great. Well, thank you so much for all that you do here at Hellsberg Hall, but also out in the community.
My pleasure.
The Neighborhood Tourist Development Fund supports local nonprofits that bring cultural, social, educational, and recreational activities to our area. To learn about additional upcoming events, visit kcmo.gov/ntdf.
Ever wonder how the city of Kansas City, Missouri puts together its budget each year, or how you can get involved in the process? Before the budgeting process even begins, City Council members collaborate at an annual meeting to re-examine and amend the city's goals and priorities, which are outlined in KCMO's citywide business plan. The city relies upon this 5-year business plan to provide the big picture needed to help guide decisions made each year during the budget process, a process that has 4 steps. First, a number of public meetings called resident work sessions are held throughout the city in mid-September to early October. The city's budget office uses these meetings to not only educate those interested in the budgeting process, but also to give residents an opportunity to tell their elected officials what city services are most important to them. Next, city departments create and submit their own desired budgets to city management and the finance staff. Over the next several weeks, these administrative offices discuss department proposals and make decisions on what to include, keeping in mind the need to maintain a balanced budget, which is a legal requirement set forth in the city's charter. After a balanced budget proposal is created, it is presented to the City Council for review and at the same time made public on the city's website, kcmo.gov, for all to see. Here is another chance for residents like you to get involved, as the city hosts several public hearings where you can share your thoughts on the city's proposed budget. The budget hearings will take place on Saturday, February 18th at the Mohart Multipurpose Center, 3200 Wayne Avenue, Saturday, February 25th at Woodneath Library, 8900 Flintlock Road, and Saturday, March 4th at Southeast Community Center, 4201 East 63rd Street. All 3 hearings will be held from 10 a.m. to noon. The final step in the budgeting process occurs when the budget gets approved at a City Council meeting and goes into effect on May 1st. This approved budget remains in effect until April 31st of the coming year. The City of KCMO values the input of residents all throughout the annual budget process, as it continues to provide outstanding services to all Kansas Cityans.
You turn on the tap and it's there. Water for washing, eating, growing, and drinking. And at KC Water, we are committed to making sure that water is some of the cleanest, best tasting drinking water in the world. The Missouri River carries water to us from as far as the Rocky Mountains. That's the easy part. The hard part is delivering it to a vast metropolitan area, and here's how it's done. First, the intake pumps raw water from the river to the treatment plant, which has a capacity to treat 240 million gallons of drinking water a day. Next, it goes to the sedimentation process, where debris and other impurities are allowed to settle and are removed. Chlorine is added for disinfection. Then lime is added for softening and improving taste. This is where raw water begins its transformation into high-quality drinking water. Finally, it's stabilized to the proper pH before being filtered through 27 inches of fine sand, which catches and removes any remaining impurities. We call this stage polishing the diamond. The drinking water is now finished for delivery throughout a city that demands an average of 100 million gallons of water each day. Large, powerful pumps send high-quality, safe, great-tasting tap water through 2,800 miles of pipe to the taps of customers across Kansas City. The process from river to tap takes an average of 18 hours, and it happens 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is an impressive feat of engineering, but at KC Water, we just think of it as our job.
Hi, I'm Sly James, the mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm happy to be joined here by my friends Alyssa and Jordan to talk with you about the work of the Kansas City Youth Commission. The Kansas City Youth Commission is a great opportunity to expose our young people to local government.
As youth commissioners, we've had the great opportunity to comment on legislation and policies that impact our city's young people and our community.
We've also been able to participate in the planning and implementation of programs that are related to KC's youth.
Our youth also monitor and measure the effectiveness of youth programs and policies. And of course, the most important role of the Youth Commission is to equip our city's young people to become the leaders of our city's future.
And you can apply to serve with us.
We need bold, confident, and creative student leaders to help us engage the youth of our city at large.
The commission is comprised of several adult, non-voting members, and you should feel comfortable working hand in hand with adults. Interested members can apply at kcmo.gov/youth commission.
We hope you'll apply soon.
Good luck.
The nice weather may inspire you to ride your bike. Thanks to our Public Works Department, about 100 new KC branded bike racks are being installed around the city. The federally funded racks are being installed in several business districts citywide. New racks are ready for you to use at 18th and Vine, Martini Corner along 31st Street, at 9th and Walnut, and at 11th and Grand, as well as a few other places. Track the latest installation progress and see photos of the racks at kcmo.gov/bikekc. KC, do you have talent? The Kauffman Center for the Performing Arts is seeking young performers for its 4th annual Future Stages Festival. Choirs, bands, dance groups, actors, and spoken word artists are encouraged to apply. The application deadline is March 20th. Details can be found at kaufmanCenter.org/futurestages. This is a free festival and it features more than 600 youth performers in 27 acts on Sunday, June 25th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. That does it for this edition of the Weekly Report. To view this program again or other Channel 2 videos, go to kcmo.gov and search Channel 2. That page has a link to our YouTube channel and all of our great videos that you can view on demand. I'm Chris Hernandez. Have a great week.